Ahoy hoy, I'm Planet Walk, and something that flat earthers don't often do is they don't often tell us how things would actually work on a flat earth. The main thing that their arguments consist of is them trying to debunk the globe, and also misunderstanding it, but that is another thing. But here's the thing, even if they were to actually be able to debunk the globe, that wouldn't mean that the Earth is flat. As luck would have it, there are more than 2 3D shapes that exist. You'd have to also show that Earth is not a cylinder. Now, because they don't tell us what the flat Earth would actually look like, it means they have no explanation for things that shouldn't work on a flat Earth. However, I have found a video from the Flat Earth Banjo person called Flat Earth Answers, which may give an idea of how the flat Earth actually is supposed to work. Who knows? I could be wrong because I have not watched the video yet, so let's see what it's about.
In a time of multi-layered CGI and media propaganda, in a time when people begin to look beyond the lies and control and awaken to the truth, one truth remains, just waiting to be found, a truth known since the dawn of creation.
So obviously the thing that they think is the one truth that's waiting to be found is flat Earth, and I mean, I'm pretty sure you know what I think about that already. It's also very interesting that they bring up CGI, because CGI is a very recent invention. We've known that the Earth is a globe for thousands of years now. This is something that has been observed for a long time. It's only very recently that flat earthers have been able to form communities and go, aha, see, people are awakening to the truth.
And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters, and let there be lights in the firmament to divide the night from the day. And God made the great light, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
Just because you have a particular interpretation of the Bible doesn't mean you are right. Even if you are right in what the Bible says, then it still wouldn't mean the Earth is flat, because the Bible does not dictate what the shape of the Earth is. The Bible is not a science book. You do not go to the Bible to answer scientific questions. You look at experiments in science.
This star in a jar is made when a sound wave is passed through a small bubble inside a flask of liquid. And this sound wave, and this sound wave.
And God said, and God said.
Okay, so the way that they're trying to explain stars here is with something called sonoluminescence. And the evidence for this seems to be that the Bible apparently says that there's water over the firmament, and that God spoke stars into existence, and that sonoluminescence is called star in a jar. One of the problems with this is that it treats the Bible as a science book. Do not go to the Bible for science. Another problem with this is that telescopes exist. This means that you can take photos of galaxies. Independent astrophotographers have done this. Sure, it may take some knowledge on how to actually take those shots, but it is something that can be done. The same goes for nebulas as well. These are things that cannot just simply be explained away by saying sonoluminescence. And this isn't even getting into all the other things that you could do to show that stars are not sonoluminescent, like spectroscopy, for example.
Part 2, controlled opposition.
Okay, we're going to skip this part, and the reason being is because nothing is actually said here. I mean, technically there are scenes from movies and there is someone singing, but that doesn't really count. They also have a clip of the making of Gravity and then show a clip of the ISS, basically to imply that, hey, look, see, they could do all this with CGI, so maybe they could fake the ISS with CGI. The only problem is that there is a lot of media from the ISS that would be extremely difficult to fake. Sure, Hollywood is able to fake things pretty easily for a movie, but that's because they don't have to pay attention to detail. Dave McKeegan actually has some really good videos that show the attention to detail in some of the photos that have been taken from the ISS.
Part 3, questions and answers.
Finally, we're at the part of the video which I was hoping for. Let's see what they've got.
The year is 2015. This is 1997. See anything different?
Okay, admittedly, that is not what I had in mind when I was thinking questions and answers. One is taken at night. That is my answer.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. You fooled me, we can't get fooled again.
I am going to say that that is not a very good answer. In fact, I'm going to say that that's not a very answer. It has nothing to do with the question that was posed.
And what you're seeing here is a mirage. We typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night.
You know, that's also not an answer to the question that was posed earlier. In fact, it's not even a new question. I thought this was meant to be questions and answers. Where are they?
Explain how a sun 93 million miles away can produce a heat spot like this.
Finally, a question! Although we don't actually have an answer to the question from earlier, or at least they didn't give an answer to the question from earlier. I did. Anyway, an answer to the question that they've asked. To me, that looks like a reflection off of water of the sun. In fact, if it were a heat spot, then we would expect the fall off to continue past that small point of intensity that we see there, and we don't. You know, something can be 150 million kilometers away and still produce a reflection.
But they are the gatekeepers.
That is not an answer. That is a clip from The Matrix, which I'm going to skip because it is not an answer. It's probably not a question either as well.
Horizon lines and the point of convergence. Notice how the water is a big ramp that ramps up to your eye level.
Still not an answer to any of the questions that have been posed thus far, and it's not even a question this time. What is this video doing? Anyway, the horizon does not actually rise to eye level. In fact, I tested this 5 years ago. Since then, better demonstrations have been done.
Unless ships can fly.
You know, miraging is a thing that does happen, which has nothing to do with perspective. There are better images taken that show things disappearing bottom first over the horizon with no miraging.
What about sunsets? Light reacts very differently when put inside water.
Okay, so it's very funny that they show a clip of a laser being bent in water, because I have seen a flat earther react to something similar to that, saying there's something wrong with that laser because they don't bend like that. But here's the thing, water is not a good explanation for why the sun sets, because we live in an atmosphere, not underwater.
Even the globe model has to account for light refraction.
Okay, that is true. However, the atmosphere has a density gradient where at the bottom it is more dense and at the top it is less dense. This means that the light is bent down, meaning that the sun appears higher, not lower. This does not help the flat earthers' argument because it makes it harder for the sun to disappear over the horizon. But you know, congratulations for the video actually getting around to asking a question and then trying to give an answer to it. May not have been a good answer, but it was an attempt at least.
What about Felix's free fall from the edge of space? Fisheye lenses cause an image to bend and warp, creating an illusion. If this is a true reflection of the Earth, then we'll have the vast amounts of oceans gone.
Okay, so most globe earthers that I know don't actually bring up the edge of space jump because, yes, it does use fisheye lenses. As for the part that says if this is a true reflection of the Earth, then we have the vast amounts of oceans gone, well, it's not as though it's a picture of the entire Earth or a video of the entire Earth.
Here is a true perspective of the Earth, taken from the exact same height.
You know, that horizon is an extremely blurry horizon. I can't tell where it begins or ends, and it kind of looks like that camera is using a fisheye lens.
Where is the curvature?
Okay, so they lifted that from a Rob Skiba video, and I think that video might have actually been taken with a fisheye lens. Big surprise! If we examine a screenshot from the video, we can see in the top right there is something partially obscuring the frame which is curved. Now this could be a straight line, we don't necessarily know, but the important thing is that the horizon is below the center of the camera. Without some kind of straight edge reference in frame, then this could just be a fisheye lens giving the appearance of a flat horizon when it is not. And the part in the top right edge makes it look as though it could definitely be a fisheye lens.
Solar and lunar eclipses. The moon and the sun both follow their own unique paths throughout the year.
You know, that actually does create problems for flat earthers because there's this thing called the conservation of angular momentum. You see, the sun is supposed to be circling around the North Pole, and it takes 1 day to do 1 lap. Yet, as it gets further and closer from the North Pole during the year, it still takes 1 day. If it were actually obeying the laws of physics, then days in the northern hemisphere summer should be shorter and days in the southern hemisphere summer should be longer.
The reason why the sun and moon appear to be the same size is because they are.
I mean, the moon does slightly vary in angular size, so we can't use, oh, they look the same size as an argument for them actually being the same size.
This 1800s map reveals something rather fascinating. A magnetic force of pole star directly above the center of the Earth. Could this blocking of the sun be the reason why we are able to witness a lunar eclipse, even when both the moon and sun are seen clearly visible in the sky above us?
Wait, where did the blocking of the sun? It's a moon that gets blocked from in the lunar eclipse. Where did that come from? It doesn't even follow on from the last point that was made. To answer the point of why we can sometimes see a lunar eclipse when the sun is visible, it's the refraction that you mentioned earlier in the video.
The moon phases. It's simply about perspective.
That is not an answer at all. Like, I can understand trying to explain ships disappearing over the horizon with perspective, but I've never heard that applied to the moon before. And if it is all about perspective, why does everyone, no matter where in the world you are, see the same side of the moon? And you know, the graphic isn't helping, it's making it look as though it's lit up by the sun, which poses the same problem. Why does everyone see the same side of the moon? See, no explanation, just moves on to a meme as though that meme is somehow an actual argument. You know, this video is terrible so far. I did not have high expectations for it, and it has still managed to disappoint me. In fact, I'm done for today. I'm gonna come back to it next week. So leave a like and subscribe if you like this video. Leave a comment letting me know what videos you'd like to see me make. I'm gonna go through a lot of ideas this month, so be prepared for that. I will see you in the next video. Between you and me, thank you for watching.